The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hi, welcome to the Political Dice.
Empishi Evuluze.
It's controversial,
Purely political,
well researched,
accurate and global.
Oyagala bya parliament oba council.
Yes, State House oba ghetto.
Ani ayuga ku ground.
Ani gwe babuze.
Okimanyi nga Dr. Kiza Besigye aleese amaanyi.
Olwo fadda bafutsoli abateeseemu obuvaazi.
Oba yo DP eri kuki?
Olwo jeema.
Bano ba MKCG bo baddawa.
Abo bafuna CDF baamala tebabanja. Olwo baba anti bange bali kuki?
Abo bo akina kulabisa simanyanga posturing tebabiri bali mu structure building. Naye ate ono ye.
Ani oyo oba?
Ye ali kuki?
Oyo tumuleketa gamba mpanyiga mawu.
Ebe ndabena birindira no ku the Political Dice ku the Alternative Dig Talk nange teditenja ewamune.
Farida bikobere
Buli wa Sunday
esawa 2.
At first, we hit your gadgets with our state-of-the-art digitalized mobile studio with the debate on the road behind the wheels. Later, we launched our magnificent studios located on Plot 1A, Ssabawandiisi Close, Kulugenda, Machindye, Kampala, where we bring to you our must-watch shows like The Mighty Drive, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m., Hotline, Mondays, 7 p.m. As for legal matters, Twins at Bar, Tuesdays, 11 a.m., Wednesdays, 6 p.m. is Afro-Caribbean Link, where we connect Africa with the Caribbean. Voltage on Thursdays, 7 p.m., featuring a youthful panel. Interface with Dr. Kiza Besigye every Friday, 12 p.m. with his call to action against injustices. Snap Talk, Saturdays, 6 p.m. with the trio. A must-watch, The Political Dice, Sundays, 8 p.m. with the duo that never stammers, and so much more. Watch us live on all our social media platforms. We are The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Hey Teddy, have you noticed how little attention science and health issues get in the media?
Totally, Edgar, yet science information is very important.
Yeah, for sure. That's why the Health Journalists Network is here.
How can they help?
They are a group of journalists dedicated to advancing public understanding of healthcare issues through impactful reporting on health and science.
Oh, really?
Yes, they meet up every month with scientists and researchers, policymakers, and activists at the science media cafes. They then relay what they discuss to the public.
Does that benefit us?
Oh yes, very much so. This helps with health and science literacy for a healthy Ugandan society.
Okay. I love getting informed about science and health issues. Health information makes all the difference between life and death. I'll look them up and engage them.
That's great. They are based all over the country.
Oh, okay. That's interesting, and they should be making real impact.
They are empowering health communities through journalism. Journalists can save lives just like doctors.
Bonjour, je suis Eden Montequila, présentateur d'Horizon des Résiliences, Portraits et Perspectives. Ensemble, découvrons les histoires inspirantes des Africains qui affrontent guerre, crise économique et changement climatique avec courage et détermination. Rencontrez les stars, les politiciens, les partenaires extérieurs qui militent pour soutenir les continents. Suivez-nous en ligne pour un voyage inspirant au cœur de la résilience africaine, chaque mardi à 12h heure de Kinshasa sur des alternatives Digitalk TV.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
ko tuba tutudde mu show yaffe ey'olunaku lwaleero. Very good morning abakatwegattako. Nze Farida Bikobere mu studios ntuddemu n'omukulu Mr. Odaka Asuman okuva mu kibiina kya National Economic Empowerment Dialogue, era nga kino ekibiina kikulirwa omukulu Joseph Kabuleta, era nga bano nno bakulembeza nnyo ebyenfuna by'omuntu. Omuntu wejjootya mu bwavu because omuntu omwavu aba mwangu wa kufuga, naye ate omuntu alinamuko kasente ye abakalekale asobola okubanga ate ayogera eddoboozi ne liwulirwa. So n'olw'ensonga eyo y'ensonga lwaki twanonyezaako omukulu najja tuweko insights about the budget. Lwaki budget eno eyinza tu affecting etya, tuyinza kugifunamu tutya, olowooza is it for the benefit of the Ugandans oba a few. So no y'ensonga lwaki nja kukubiriza nnyo osobola okubanga ate ogoberera show eno naddala gwe atategeera budget. Okimanyi bumanya mbu we have a 72 point something trillion budget, naye nga gwe tomanyi eyinza kutu impacting etya, eyinza kutwongerako ki, etujjako ki, how does it impact our public debt. Byonna munange ffe tunoonya abasoma economics ne bamutegeera obulungi basobole okubanga ate bamutunnyonnyola tumutegeere. Awo no ngenda kubanga ate musaba atulamuseeko sobole okubanga show yaffe etambula mpolampola. Since ziri nsonga za budget tugenda gitambuza mpola, numbers muzitegeere bulungi nnyo. A very good morning Mr. Odaka, ndi wasanyu nnyo okubanga ntudde naawe mu studios olunaku lwaleero.
Good morning Farida, nange ndi wasanyu okubeera nga mutunoonyezaako leero. Era nsanyuka buli mutunoonyako tubeera nga twogera ku nsonga zikwata ku ggwanga.
Yes.
Eggwanga lino nno lyetaaga okwogerwako, especially nze nsanyuka nga emyaka gyammwe bwe muti mufuna muzi kyayita concern okwogera ku kintu kikwata lwakujjo ata ku nsi maaso g'eggwanga. Era njagala okutwala omusajja n'okulamusa abantu baffe abatulaba, abawagizi ba NIDI, abawagizi ba Kabuleeta ne bannayuganda bonna abeesibye emisiku. Ntwala nnyo neesaasira nnyo abantu baffe buli awo. Nalabye abantu baffe nnema, olina okubeera ng'olina omutima omubi nnyo okukola kinalabye.
Nema kye yakoze mu Lubigi.
You must properly be
a very bad heart.
Very bad person. Actually, olina okubeera ng'oli devil yourself okukola ekintu ekyo. Kubanga ebintu ebyo bigenda ne bibeerawo netulowooza nti nno ebintu byakusaagirira. Omanyi bulungi nti almost 60% ya Kampala yonna is a wetland.
Yes. Kampala
ono yenna okujjako hills kati zasukka okuva mu 7 kubanga awali hill walina okubeerawo.
Yes, that should be a lowland.
So ekisooka ekyokubiri abantu abo babawanga amataka ago nga gavumenti weeri. Ebyapa ebyo babifunanga gavumenti weeri nga tegaidinga. Omanyi tulina ekitongo kye bayita National Planning Authority kino okuplaningira including development. Naye waliyo duplication bano bakola government abafuga by accident. Olina National Development Authority, olina Forest Authority, olina NEMA, olina duplication of roads. So abantu batuuka nga n'okubeera galvanizing and focusing development nebalema kati ne bateekawo ekintu ekyo kisooka ekyokubiri. Ekintu ekyo kiteeka gavumenti nti destroying kubanga tosobola kulinda. Farida nze nkulabye you worked yourself.
Yes.
N'ogamba let me nteeke ku mbeera buli omu kati gyayitamu buli mwalowooza oteekawo akayumba. That is the only thing omuntu kalina. Kati gwe gavumenti n'otalinda n'otakola ki n'ogamba let's just destroy. Ekyo tekibeera kirungi. Ate ekisembayo okubeera nti balondamu abaana n'ebyana because nze manyi bulungi waliyo wetland eri awo opposite Seta High egundi Seta wa nalabawo abasajja bajja waliyo abaazimba bayiwawo amataka wano bwe wati oweno ne bamumenya ali mu ntobazi yennyini ne batamukola ki
ne batamumenya
seta hayi yenna ali
nanti kigambibwa nti ogenda kunnema n'ofuna certificate ye okulaga nti you are going to use the land naye ng'ojja kubanga tokosa butonde. So when you have that certificate, I think yensonga lwaki abamu babamenya
Farida oli munnamawulire mulungi nnyo I know and investigative as such. Go to SETA. I'm giving you an example. Bagira ne bateeka amayinja SETA highway.
Yes.
SETA highway wonna omanyinga yali almost same nyanja. Both here ne Gundi. Baba SETA high. So ebintu bino kyetaaga tuteekemu ku some human heart wetuba tubikola kubanga abantu baffe oli mubagoba mu boda oli mubagoba mu taxi oli mubugo abateesemu abatembeyo obagobye ifrisi efuse na we babeera nawo bagobyewo. So what do you expect of a human being?
How best should NEMA handle this issue?
I think it shouldn't only be NEMA. I think our proposal and need is number one, restructure the entire governance system. That's one. As you restructure government system, obere nti waliwo obutongole obwo n'obuteekewamu nga there is you synergize the effort. That's one. Number two, NEMA should really Omanyinga NEMA, that Rubiji thing, was gazetted, I think, in 2021. Now, there are people who acquired that place beyond 2021.
Yes.
And now, when you gazette, there should be some level of sensitization. Omanyinga NEMA te sensitizing abantu. You go and see the entire Bwaise. Omanyinga the entire Bwaise is a wetland. Are they going to break the entire Bwaise? Are they going to break the entire Katanga? Are they Omanyinga buli gate eri mu Kampala is a wetland. So Kampala, the entire Kampala is a wetland. Government should know how to handle because number one, some of these wetlands were gazetted wetland before the population pressure. Population has expanded.
Yes.
Now, anybody who studied the development economics will know that there has been an endless debate between development and environmental preservation. So there should be a much better way of not destroying development, not destroying human livelihood vis-a-vis the protection of the wetland. Yes. Some people have smarter ways of doing it. That waliyo we muzimba naye nga you're preserving it. Let NEMA only guide how people are using these wetlands. You see, there is a place called Butaleja. Butaleja is a district, but 73% of Butaleja is a wetland.
Oh.
73% is a wetland. So only about 27 here where people have to stay, where people have to survive. You know, they are rice grow, but they are chasing them from. Unfortunately, when they send them away from that, you find either big people in government are the ones who are reoccupying that, or Chinese, like these people in Butaleja who are rice growers. Baba goba mu wetland naye neme bagoba naye ne wawa ba China. Go to Mbale when you're entering Mbale, that industrial park. That industrial park where Chinese, you remember where the president went and launched that textile something.
Yes.
2 months after the president had been there, the floods came and chased away the Chinese. They didn't work for about 7 months. They have just reopened, and now they are saying again the water level is rising. Now that means there is even no scientific way of settling there.
But given the high impacts of climate change, because naffe bannauganda wanted to the feelings, yadenga we are contributing a smallest percentage globally. How best tunayamba tutya NEMA ekoleetya nti we do not want to face the impacts because we need these wetlands to be preserved.
No.
Vis-a-vis protecting people's rights and their livelihood.
Yes. Let me tell you, everybody knows that for the last 100 years, we have progressively the vegetation cover has up to about 60% disappeared.
Exactly.
Disappeared. Whenever every time we live, as time goes on, we know that people become wiser. That's why there is technology. For example, the amount of crops you would get, 20 years ago in the size of this land cannot be the same of the size of the crops you get now because of advancement in technology. Now, we have people, or we have technology in this country, in the world now, of how to handle natural resources. Now, the issue of natural resources should be gazetted. But you see, our problem is the way you are chasing and destroying people's livelihood in Rubiji, but you are destroying Mabira, you have destroyed Budongo, you've destroyed Bugoma, you've destroyed all the forests. There's this one in Busoga here, 2 of them. One you've planted sugarcane, another one you planted your own home, whatever. So where is your? So you are not genuine. You are not genuine. First, preserve what now because why we think there is double standard? Let's first remove the double standard.
Yeah, okay.
Then we confront the issue soberly. Once because we shall not complain, nobody will complain if everybody is being handled the same way. If you're preserving the forest, because let me tell you, if we preserved all our forest cover in this country, forest cover, gazetted properly, and we are not doing whatever this government is doing against them, these wetlands we could forego it. In the debate I mentioned earlier of development versus environmental preservation. I'm telling you. Because these wetlands, you only now need to create proper and a huge drainage, almost at the size of a narrow river, and water will flow properly. There is really nothing being done in Rubiji about that's not about wetland. It's about something else.
Are you trying to communicate
Yes, I am telling you that there are other places they have broken.
That they have chased away people
you see Lusanje. Lusanje. The reason why they broke original Lusanje was that Lusanje, and indeed Lusanje is a wetland. It is a wetland. When they broke Lusanje, eventually you go and see what is there. Now, because I have something I'm doing near Lusanje there. You find huge factories, and Ugandans, when you ask them, hey, you people, what happened there? They will tell you it is for so and so first family. You ask a border man, they know. And it is in the wetland. They chased away the ordinary people, but the unordinary people are the ones. So I am telling you, for me, I can tell anybody that issue in Nansana, in Rubiji, it's not about wetland.
It is not about.
It is something else. And that something else will soon come
shall
out.
Know.
Yes.
Okay, Njagala, before we dive into our topical discussion of the day, Njagala, to how has been named Musiri Senyo, what are you up to? You never not so lokubanga to be manya.
Yes, our operational procedures have been that we do overt and covert. Sometimes we deliberately want. You see, they say when you're one of the 48 laws of power is that when you are strongest, make the enemy think you're weakest. And when you're weakest, make the enemy think
that you are the strongest.
You're strongest or near. When you're far, the enemy should think that you're near there. Yes. So our operational procedure is that there are structures we are building down there. Which we do not want to, because for us, we want to build, our intention from the beginning is to build a party that can sustain everything in this country. Okay. We do not want, we want our people to listen to us, And you know, sometimes when you first you say I am going to Gulu, then you announce on radio, you see that, and you will definitely get unnecessary disruption. Sometimes we want to avoid those disruptions from those who they genuinely think that we are taking their space. They will come and disrupt you through tear gas, through this, and so on and so forth. But also, the level or the stage you need is this. For us, we are hardly 2 years. We are just a year and plus. So, and yet we want to contest the next election with the capacity enough to be called a party. Now, when you want to run, we don't want to. I think our approach is different. Our approach is not of noise, but of presence. So we are not quiet. We may be quiet.
You are doing
but we are not
things behind media.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
you are also building structures like the people of Ant.
No. Ours is different. I don't know how the people of Ant are doing it, but for us we are there because even as of yesterday, but one.
You're having activities taking place?
We had activities in the Greater Sebei and Greater Elgon. Yes.
You are doing your mobilization ground.
Yes, and today a team is in Kanungu, that's in Greater Kigezi.
Okay.
So we are doing work.
I really want you to comment about the political atmosphere,
Yes.
the corruption, the
Yes.
sanctions,
Yes.
the letters from the president.
Yes.
What is your comment about all that?
The sanctions, I think, for me, I welcome the sanction because you see now governments, we are leaving people. What people do not know, politicians and leaders in countries do not realize that we are moving towards a borderless. You only have these physical borders, but you know governance is now moving from this physical so-called sovereignty to a borderless big entity. An international, which is international.
Yes.
So that also means that we are moving to what they call open governance. That everything you do will be there.
Yes.
That's why you journalists are the most endangered, that everybody can be a journalist now. And therefore what you do here, you don't only account to your people here, you only account to other people out there.
Exactly.
So the Anitas of this world and everybody else of this world thought that you can do everything within this country and everything ends in this country. It no longer happens like that. Yes, tebikyali bya wano byokka. Obikolera wano kubanga programu katugirabira wano. Naye ffe tugikolidde wano. Naye kati wali abali mu US, wali abali mu UK, waliyo ensi yonna kati etulaba. So ensobi yonna gye tukola kati wano tekoma wano. Kyekimu ne politics. Oba okubye Munnayuganda kati, oba okoze eki, oba okoze byonna kati bikoma eri. Ekisooka. Ekyokubiri kitegeeza. Ekyokubiri kiri nti ensi oba okyali mu ku level nti budget yo wali abakukwasizaako. Tebalina kukwasiza mu bulungi bwokka. Balina okukwasiza ensi eyo ne mu bubi. So gwe tosobola kubeera nti mu makaago abantu buli lwoba olina issues za school fees, issues z'emmere, issues za rent, bakuyamba. Naye woba otandika kukuba bbaawo oba kukuba toyagala bajje babataase. Tebikyali bye bito. Ndowooza abantu baffe abantu bange banfuna. Ekyokusatu
nti Uganda bw'eba yeetaaga aid okuva mu USA we go. Ate bwe tuba tulina abalidde ssente tetwagala USA
bubeera bukuusa. Bubeera bukuusa. Ekyokusatu kati nze kino ekyobulya bw'enguzi, corruption, Museveni ye champion wa corruption kati. kino kiriwo si kyakulwanyisa nguzi bannayuganda balina okukitegeera
ate nga yavuddeyo n'ategeeza nti agenda crushinga the corrupt officials.
nedda kambabuulire nze njagala bannayuganda bategeere ekiriwo kati si kyakulwanyisa corruption. Tewali corruption gye balwanyisa. There is no corruption Mr. Museveni is fighting or government is fighting. Let me tell you.
So what are they fighting?
No, Mr. Museveni failed to come and account to Parliament. Let me give you the two. Parliament, of course I have issues with that Parliament, very, very fundamental issues with that Parliament. That it is a very disappointing, disgusting house we have. But you see, even in its very bad image, the Constitution as it is today, President is supposed to come and account to the Parliament. Because the President is supposed to account to two entities, Parliament and the people of Uganda.
Yes.
Now, it is so bad when the President comes and instead intimidates the members of Parliament who are supposed to ask him, how did this happen, how did this happen, how did this happen, how did this happen. Now, that brings me to a thought. What is Mr. Museveni calculating? After I'm twisting these members of Parliament, what does he want to achieve? Of course, the issues of corruption notwithstanding. That's one. Two. So I am calculating what does he want? Because I know for sure it is not corruption. Because if we want to talk about the matters of corruption. I will give you a list which is countless, where he has not, where he seemed not paying attention.
Wetubanga tureferringa ku speech ye ya Sona.
Yes.
Yagamba nti abadde ngalowooza ngambo, but now yakizudde nti not lies. There is corruption between, waliwo syndicate ya corruption between the Ministry of Finance and the Parliament.
No,
so
he was lying. He was lying.
He was lying to the public.
Yali alimba kubanga akimanyi bulungi nti okuviira ddala mu 86 nze nja kukugamba from mwali mukyali bato what they called the currency reform babba abantu wano bagamba nti oba olina million omanyi omuntu ogenda ku exchanginga sente ogenze ne million emu nodda n'akasanvu
7,000.
Yes. Ogana million yemu. Okay, buli omu, but they first strike off the 30. Now when they strike off the 30, that's what they call the currency reform. After that, they tax 30%. Ogane, so buli omu paka kati omuntu asobola okunnyonnyola, that was the first form of corruption. Nebijjawo nebyokugenda okugula bagamba Santana waliyo Land Rover bagenda bagula Land Rover okugenda ogula ne baleeta emmotoka ze bayita Santana zifaanana Land Rover. Ebintu bingi ebyali mu airline ebya airline tipi byakatandika kati waliyo ebintu bye bayitanga danze nga kampani ya bagitanga yayo PDF naye nga Museveni ya chairman waayo tesasula musolo ojjukira bino ebyambabazi. Museveni bwe bamala okumuwa report we bati nagamba badde ndowooza nti byabatemangalo naye bano ndowooza bali kutema mutwe ebyambabazi ne batwala Kyandijama ne bamusiba abala ne bakola ki. So ojjukira be bagenda okugula engatto nga bazigula UPDF engatto zonna ne bazireeta nga za mugulu kumu as if they are bringing for lame people.
Yeah, we remember that. You
remember uniforms of whatever the baletanga uniforms zonna ziringa ez'aba China zikoma mu ggunda mavivi balinga ez'aba tabuliki. So there are so many things. So what Mr. Museveni is doing now is not corruption. Me, I think number one, Museveni wants to twist the institution he's supposed to account for. That's number two. Museveni, corruption. You remember the issue narrative ey'okugamba nti creating a middle class.
Yes.
Strategies of creating a middle class were three. Number one, through land grabbing. as a factor because land was a big factor of production. So creatingawo omuntu okubeerawo yes it is still is okreatingawo middle class omuntu okubeera nga bamuyita mugagga alina okubeera n'ettaka we basobola okugurabinga ne bagurabinga we basobola okudigazetinga game park nga wali ku mbulo ne badigazetinga. People did not pay attention to that. Number 2 was the issue of this classified budget. Classified budget tetufunangako. Of course the law there should be a time under which between which we declassify netegeera nti classified budget mu myaka gino zakozesebwanga bweziti. Even the US does that. Fe tetukola ki ekyokusatu through corruption. Kubanga classified budget zino waliyo families deliberately wogenda nkole bakugamba nti waliyo families deliberately ove makerere ne bakuwa milioni ebyo. Do you know why the issue of money lending business is almost a preserve of one? Genda olabe buli money lender wali ni mu Busiramu zimuno bona bafaana balinga ba China. Money lending ekisembayo kye corruption. So bano kati bano bebakwata bano are only people who are not supposed to be involved. Yes, kubanga it is ring fenced also. It is ring fenced kati gwe oyingirira they have only crossed the line kati gwogenda kubanga gwogenda bajja kukwata omulala wagenda tebajja mukwata. Who are you?
Okuzayoko katono classified budget. You actually saying nti classified budget year 2022-2023 should be brought out in 2024 so that people should know mwaji spending
it may not even be yes it should be. For example, in the US those I think all classified information emyaka etaano emabega after 5 years they declassify. Yes, ebagamba this is how we because some of them have security implication. You don't do the immediate past one because sometimes the immediate past one mwaguze ebyokulwanyisa bwebiti so you still don't want the enemy to know. Yes. But there should be a time. For example, Museveni has been here for the last almost 40 years. But all the years we've never known
the classified budget.
How he spends the classified budget. And yet classified envelope has been the biggest throughout the years. So where does it go? What does it do? Because there is no item in as far as the need of this economy is concerned that we don't allocate funds for. So what does the classified budget do? Can't we have years that we audit the classified
budget?
Because we need to. It is taxpayers' money. Because why should classified budget be almost in this budget? Isn't it moving towards 10 trillion?
But someone would say classified budget classified information should be classified. It shouldn't be brought to the public.
I am not saying it shouldn't be. I am saying the internationally agreed democratic practice dictates that there is a period you agree as a country to declassify so that you audit. I am not saying we should do maybe last year or the other year we should, but I'm saying
declassify that of 2021.
The UK does, even Kenya here does. Okay. Even Kenya here does. I don't know about Rwanda, but Kenya does. So why would we say the guy we gave in the last budget, classified budget, was 7 trillion? 7 trillion. More than any sector. More than any sector. And yet, if you say he bought, maybe it was for means of defense, means of defense, means security and so on, they had their own budget.
Yeah, they have their own budget.
So what does classified budget, that's why people in the Greater College, and I got this from Greater College.
So what does classified budget do? What does it cater for exactly?
Classified budget ordinarily in civilized countries are supposed to be, because there are things countries need that do not want for their security, that they do not want the public or other enemy country, potential enemy countries to know. So you get that budget not known to anybody. You do not want to explain to anyone to purchase those things for your own security. But you see, for us here, even those things we think we don't want others to know, we allocate a budget, but also allocate budget for classified. So my question is, what does the classified do? That's why my view is there should be a period we declassify.
So there is double budgeting.
Yeah, exactly.
We budget in this budget.
Yes. Exactly. You see, so that's a misnomer in budgeting. The other thing why I'm saying those guys could just have crossed the line. Do you know it is the only country in the world where you see do you know that every member of Mr. Museveni has an envelope in that national budget? Every member.
That one I don't know.
You know that General Salim Saleh is Mr. Museveni's brother.
Yes, I know.
You know he has a budget through the Operation Wealth Creation. You know that General Muhoozi is Museveni's son. You know that he has a budget through Ministry of Defense. You know that, who else? You know that Kataha is the First Lady. You know that the First Lady has a budget as the First Lady, but also has a budget as Minister of Education. You know that Audrey Kirwabogo is Museveni's brother-in-law, but he has a budget. Do you know the most ridiculous one that to teach Ugandans how to drink coffee? I think this time they've increased. The last budget was 38 billion. Drinking coffee. Do you need to be taught how to drink coffee? and you know Edwin.
Yes.
He has a budget through Makerere and so on. So who does Museveni have more authority to talk about corruption?
So this whole saga we are seeing the arresting of MPs.
No, these ones have crossed the line. They
are scared.
Yes, of course I have. Of course, those ones I have a problem with them also. But I want to only discuss the principle that for now, Ugandans may not know the danger of Mr. Museveni cowing those MPs. Those MPs are supposed to make. You see, he will get a few those who are not, who even if you arrested, because now my brother Mutembule, even if you arrested him and kept him away from the of what political consequence will Museveni face? Nothing. But if he arrested, I dare Mr. Museveni to arrest Anita Among today. I know that he's doing all this because he's looking for Among, but let him arrest Among today. Then I will know that he's really fighting corruption. Because Among and there is a document I saw this morning or last evening. Among and Tayewa getting 500 and something million to go and buy their private generators
for their homes.
Can you imagine? So I want them be arrested. Then I will know there's some corruption being found.
Maybe he's going to take that step.
You see, you go to you see this land in Buyukwe here in Njeru. I want him to arrest Otafire for taking livestock. I want him to arrest Audrey Kirwabogo and Frank Tumwebas for taking the livestock farm in Tororo. Let him arrest them. Then I will know he's fighting corruption.
Do you also believe that sanctions zebateka kuba bannabyabufuzi waneno zinenge gye ziyambako ko?
Yes, I'm telling you, any push against, you know me, in Islam, we say that you fight something with your hand. If you can't, at least talk with the mouth. If you can't, at least, of course, the weakest level of faith is when you just hate. But you see,
at least muchawe.
At least muchawe. Yes. So if we nze ndowooza nti sanctions ezo omanyi kati bali babba sente zaffe nga bazitwale abaana ne babeera eyo ne bagenda mu holidays ne bakola ki. Okay, if there is anything, let them just have the money in their houses and here, so that one time we shall find the money in their houses. Tebagenda yeyo. So ng'omanyi okubeerawo ng'olina ssente ng'osobola okugenda wonna w'oyagala naye nga tosobola kugendayo, kiringa prison. Omanyi buli lwofuna sente nyingi. You think that Wally is smaller, you want to expand your tentacle.
Yes.
So kijira pressure ekola
kati umulemuko katono nyo bwetukomawo we shall be looking at NIDI's interpretation of the 2024-2025 budget. Implication is chize tuina eringa ffe bannayuganda olowooza byatunuulidde poverty levels eziri mu Uganda oba nedda era tuyinza kuziga kuganulwamu tya mweno budget and how are we going to finance it nga bannayuganda. Very good morning.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Bonjour, je suis Eden Montequila, présentateur d'Horizon des Résiliences, Portraits et Perspectives. Ensemble, découvrons les histoires inspirantes des Africains qui affrontent guerre, crise économique et changement climatique avec courage et détermination. Rencontrez les stars, les politiciens, les partenaires extérieurs qui militent pour soutenir les continents. Suivez-nous en ligne pour un voyage inspirant au cœur de la résilience africaine, chaque mardi à 12h heure de Kinshasa sur des alternatives Digitalk TV.
At first, we hit your gadgets with our state-of-the-art digitalized mobile studio with the debate on the road behind the wheels. Later, we launched our magnificent studios located on Plot 1A, Sawagudde Close, Lukulinanganda, Machindye, Kampala, where we bring to you our must-watch shows like The Mighty Drive, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m., Hotline, Mondays, 7 p.m. As for legal matters, Twins at Bar, Tuesdays, 11 a.m., Wednesdays, 6 p.m. is Afro-Caribbean Link, where we connect Africa with the Caribbean. Voltage on Thursdays, 7 p.m., featuring a youthful panel. Interface with Dr. Kiza Besije every Friday, 12 p.m. with his call to action against injustices. Snap Talk, Saturdays, 6 p.m. with the trio. A must-watch, The Political Dice, Sundays, 8 p.m. with the duo that never stammers, and so much more. Watch us live on all our social media platforms. We are The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Hi, welcome to the Political Dice.
Empishi ya byobufuzi.
It's controversial,
Purely political,
well researched,
accurate and global.
Oyagala bya parliament oba council.
Bya state house oba ghetto.
Ani ayuga ku ground.
Ani bwe babuze.
Okimanyi nga Dr. Kiza Besije aleesa amaanyi.
Olwofadda bafutoli abateeseemu obuvaazi.
Oba yo DP eri kuki?
Olwojema.
Bano ba MKCG bo baddawa.
Abo bafuna CDF baamala tebabanja. Olwo baba ate bange bali kuki?
Abo bo akina kulabisa simayanga posturing tebabiri bali mu structure building. Naye ate ono ye.
Ani oyo oba?
Ye ali kuki?
Oyo kyomuleketa gamu apanyiga mawu.
Ebe ndabena birindira nokuda Political Dice ku The Alternative Digitalk nange teditenje ewamune.
Farida Bikobere
Buli wa Sunday
esawa 2.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Tukulikeyo mukuwumula mukoto oba tuyingidde ekitundu kyaffe ekyokubiri kya program The Mighty Drive tubanga tugenda tambulira ddala kuva ssaawa zino 3 paka ssaawa 4 kakati mu kino ekitundu wenkugambira munnaye comment section yoba ekibuuzo kyendowoozayo osobola okubanga ogiteeka mu comment section nja kubanga ate nziyitaayitamu at the end of the show njagala nneme kubanga ate nandaga nnyo tugende bugenzi ku our topical discussion of the day the needs interpretation of the 2024-2025 budget. What do you make of this budget, Mr. Odaka Asuman?
I have told people elsewhere who have asked me about this budget, and I've told them there is no such a thing like a budget.
There is?
There is no such a thing like a budget for the last about 10 years now in this country. We just have what the other person called You see, a budget is supposed to be an instrument that guides, number one, guides your aspiration or development pattern of that country. That's one. And also your approach to development as far as your philosophy is concerned, because it reveals how you want, it reveals through which sectors, because the where you put more money reveals how you want the country to perform.
To move.
Yes.
Okay.
Number 3, it also tells how planful you are.
Yeah.
Now, I want to begin from there. Now, when you look at the budgets, and since you want us to talk about this specific one, let me whatever these specific ones. The theme has been monetizing the economy through agriculture, industrialization, services, and ICT. Yes. That is the theme of
this 72 point something.
Yes, 72 point something budget. But when you look at, in terms of allocation, because we'll begin from the theme, in terms of allocation, how much has agriculture received? Yeah. That tells you that it is a lie. Industrialization. You see, all countries that have approach towards industrialization, number one, you look at, because you look at what your people have been doing and can do most. Now, let me tell you the industrial approach of this regime. Yeah. Is that what you talk about industrialization, when you go to Namave there, those are not industry, those are warehouses. Huh? Those are warehouses.
But we call it Namave Industrial Park. That makes whatever.
You have a little more leverage than me. You can go there.
Yeah, we can access.
Those are warehouses and big stores. And at best, a few of them are assembling plants.
Assembling plants.
And not industries. There is no industry there, by the way.
Do we have any industries in Uganda?
I don't know which one. But that is a fact.
Whatever we have in Namave are assembling plants and
warehouses. There are big stores, warehouses, and a few
assembling
plants.
Okay.
Now, those who have industrial, those budgets or approaches toward industrialization would have understood what Ugandans do most, then you modernize it towards the demand of other countries.
Yes.
Number one, Ugandans had the issue of pamba.
Cotton.
Twalimanga pamba Fabebukedi up to Lira and so on, Lango, Teso. That's why we had developed things of lint developing something. You remember Nightil?
Yes.
Now, NITIL only needed an expansion and recapitalization of funds. And would be, do you know that by 1968, Marks and Spencer, everybody knows, is one of the finest makers of clothes in the world. Yes. Do you know that they were using our, they would get our shirts, go simply brand it.
And put it back
in the market. And people buy expensively. Now, government needed to take that approach. You go to areas of say, Toro. You know that for them, their approach is tea. What you do, you help them, because it is private sector led, you claim. Yes. You help them establish an industry, because it's both agro-business now. You help them the processing of tea, of that tea. But you see what this government does? Agriculture, it makes that tea. Tea lives in Toro region. It is at 1,700 shillings a kilo. Without adding any value from Toro to Mombasa, Mombasa is now it's now at 6,100
a kilo.
A kilo.
No value added.
But you see, the president and this government goes to Italy, goes to China, and brings Chinese who are going to say there is easy phones they make. The Ugandans here love iPhone and everything else. You've brought them to assemble, because those phones are not made from here.
Yeah, they're assembling.
They assemble from. You bring and you call that industries. Those are not industries. Those are not investors. You bring those Chinese that you kill NITIL.
Kira Motors is what? Kira Motors is it?
And you go and check what Kira Motors are. Kira Motors. I think I have.
Is it also an assembling plant?
It is. Okay. Because there is no item they are manufacturing from here. They are not. They are simple assembling. When you go, Kira Motors, then you go to, I mean, tell me how many Ugandans will benefit, because the purpose of industrialization is, first of all, services, because it must be service Ugandans widely need. Number one, it must be services that Ugandans can easily get involved in as employment. So Kira Motors. Then you go to all these so-called industries managed by Chinese making clothes. Even this one, Umbale, that they claim makes gin. Do you know they bring rolls of gin? By the tax-free. Yeah. Then they simply tailor them from there. How do you call that industries? So, in terms of development, you're doing nothing and budget. Agriculture the same, services. Now, when you come to ICT, you are talking about ICT as if it is the biggest thing. You saw the allocation with regard to ICT. Nothing. Now, come back to I was angry when they wanted to lump together and they said human capital development. And human capital development includes health, includes education, of course, social services generally. Now, look at the budget they have given them. They claim they lumped all of them together and something else, and they gave them 4.something%, which is about 9-something trillion. But you see, when you come down to that, includes salaries. Actually, it has nothing to do with the development. It has nothing to do. It has everything to do with the consumption. Because when you look at the breakdown in terms of activities, they have seminars, they have benchmarking outside, they have what they call construction, and the salary. Nothing that eventually percolates to real develop the capital capacity of an ordinary Ugandan. Talk about the new curriculum. So then they come to the so-called PDM, where they put money, where by mention of it, an economist would get an impression that, you see, it is where you want to put. It is where you're putting a lot of money, or involving Uganda into the money market, because ordinarily that's what I thought it would be.
Yes.
But look at how the approach, the implementation approach, that you see, you go to a parish and you get 100 million you put there, and whoever wants, you give 1 million. Let me tell you, the situation we are all going through. If you, of course, a parish, an average parish in this country has how many families? And you are not giving families, you are giving individuals. But you're giving 1 million shilling. What can?
1 million shilling.
I am telling you, Farida, the way I see you, of course, you're worth 1 million, even the way you're dressing. If I gave you 1 million shilling, you moved from here to town, will you have that million?
No.
How can you plan for 1 million shilling? Now, the approach would have been creating, you see, and you know, that's why I said this government operates like, I'm not saying they're mad, I'm saying they operate like a mentality of a madman, where throwing a stone and where you hit is the target. If you got that money and you put it in a cooperative bank, and somebody comes to borrow money, borrowers borrow on need.
Yeah.
You borrow money when you already have the need.
You already have
not
the plan.
Giving you money. Do you know how many people get money and get married? You know, African men are really, they are interesting. Gets 1 million shilling and 1 million because there is no immediate plan, and the immediate investment is to find a nice woman and marry. Now, that has happened. Now, that has nothing that it adds on the economy. The economy of this country, I saw Honorable Kasaija mentioning, if you look at the 72, of course, of almost 73 trillion,
Yes.
out of the 72 trillion, about, of course, they said 4 point something is for servicing the domestic, foreign debt, 21 servicing the domestic debt. Then we have about 9 or something there about for interest. You see what the budget is.
Yes.
Then there is about 9 point something for project support. Of course, then you talk about security, which has taken the biggest chunk of the money.
It has 24% of the budget.
Yes. Now, when you look at everything, we out of the 72 trillion, only about 6 or 3 point something is only remaining for what we would call development budget. Development for 3 out of the 73 trillion, 72 point something, 69 trillion is going into consumption, paying salaries, buying hardware as if we are going for wars and so on. So why should any Ugandan think that they have anything in this budget? And I had the then at the same time you're introducing very extractive tax policies.
Yeah, but before we go to the tax policies,
because it is part of the budgeting.
Does the increase
Yes.
in the budget mean economic development?
No, it doesn't.
Because back in the years we had a budget of 22 trillion,
Yeah.
and then we went to 44,
44.
and now 52,
Yes.
and now 72.136.
You
Does
see,
that mean we are economically developing?
No, I have even seen Mr. Kasaija, and I think Mr. Kasaija put it in a better way. Of course, he said that our GDP has jumped from 1.0 something 8 to $1.114. That if Ugandans agreed, and he said it very well, that if Ugandans agreed to share all the money equally, everybody would be having $1,149 something dollars. But what is the reality? That's one. But also two, why I started by saying this budget Sachiwanyi is that the budget is in the mind of Mr. Museveni. It is not what he presented. How? When you look at just like the other budget. You see, the last budget of 52 trillion, before it was, we actually entered the budget year, 7 trillion had been used. This one, 14. We've not yet entered into the other budget, but 14 trillion used. Two, you can't make a budget in anticipation. Tusuubira. Because when you look at what Kasaija was saying, we are making this because, number one, we anticipate the oil. Kati oil weta from, because we have been anticipating that oil okuva like forever. That's one. Two, yalowooza nti PDM, productivity out of PDM, na igenda to ascend.
Yes. Based on its performance in the past financial year.
Financial year. But now they did not. Unfortunately, they did not tell us what was, because oil tetunagundi. There is no evidence that we don't have a reference point. PDM, what is the reference point? Tebagituwa.
Kwa okuzaayo katono ku budget ya Honorable Kasaija ngayogera. Normally they give us the performance of the concluding budget.
Yes.
And then nebatuwa bye basoobira in this coming budget.
Yes.
So I think Honorable Kasaija yatubuulira how PDM had performed in the concluding budget.
You see, PDM, Kasaija atubuulira. Naye naffe kennyini tubeerayo mu communities. Naffe kennyini tubeera mu communities. For example, figures zaabwe zonna zaali, the president said, Mukasaija's report, as of now, one of the leading features of revenue is milk. Natugamba, we are now selling 5.3 billion liters. You check from Uganda Dairy Corporation. Uganda Dairy Corporation, kubanga bo, bebakolanagana figures zonna ez'amata. They are saying we are selling 3.1 billion. It's there. So, wotunulira ebintu bye bakola, some of them are inexcusably lying, openly lying.
So, they are playing with numbers.
They are playing with numbers, and I think the economy is collapsing before them, but they do not want to accept. Tosobola kubeera ngo URA bajuwa, kululi bajuwa 29 sometime of collecting revenue. They failed. Into URA, of course, now juzi msinzinga gamba, this remaining period they are likely to achieve what they want. But you see, you're trying to squeeze URA, your revenue authority, taxman, has failed to achieve the target you gave it, the lower one. And then this time for you, what you do is increase. Do you know what that means? That means URA is coming back to the Faridas, the Odakas, and who have small businesses to squeeze them even harder. And when you squeeze them harder, businesses collapse. Now, when businesses collapse, your tax base is shrinking. Now, when tax base shrinks, you have nowhere to get the taxes. The economy is. That's why other countries and even in the region, what they do, they would rather, and yet in this same year, exemptions have increased. Tax exemptions. You know, we lose the last financial year. We lost 9 point something trillion to tax exemptions. We, of course, now the corruption add on to the corruption. Yes. Because those are losses. When you're doing budget, those are losses you write off. Now, this one, more businesses have closed, because when you go to Chikuvo there and so on and so forth, even if you don't use the Bureau of Statistics records of how many businesses are closing within 1 year. So the ordinary person has nothing he gained. It is only that he got more burden. You see, what we should know that any dollar increase, and this is the basic economics, any dollar increase on the price of fuel, that you see they've increased 100 shilling. Now, the immediate thing you will see, taxis, of course. Now, with the bantu ba bulijjo taxi bayongezaako siringi ekyo kikome, naye ekyo ekikome musajja wa taxi yetagenda kuongezaako kikome kubanga ekikumi tebakyakyongeza mu taxi, agenda kuongezaako 10. Wobadde otambulira 10 zigenda kubeera 200. Kati omuntu avudde wano agenze mu katale wali okugula emmere agenda ajja atundire wano. Of course ye abadde atunda emicungwa 10 siringi 10, kati gigenda kubeera 5 y'olukumi, oba kati zine 10 zigenda kubeera 2,000 olw'okuba naye ateekamu oli transport we atayagala ajjeko amagoba. So byebyo bigenda okubeera nga byongerwa. So every dollar increase, it is 100% increase on ordinary consumptive goods, and that is the economy.
Mu speech ya Honorable Kasajja yatutegeeza nti inflation rate esseemuko okuva ku 10% ne tukira up to 6.1%. That means the Ugandan shilling is not doing really bad.
Kati olaba abantu abo nze rekodi zaabwe nzeewuunya. Kubanga nze ebintu ebyo nze mbitunuulira ng'omuntu amanyiiko ku economics ate naye ate omuntu wa bulijjo. Naamu yali wano. This financial year we had about 4 international, 3 or 4. My specific interest yali munaku abagenyi bwe baali wano. Dola yali 3,758. It is stagnated. That's slightly before. I recorded that slightly a week before. It is stagnated that way up to 2 weeks after abagenyi bwe bakola ki
bwe bagenda.
Nabuuza an economist, nabuuza muhumuza nti professor, does this, because abagenyi abo okujja bakitegeeza we are going to have much supply of dollars. Kitegeeza dola yalibadde ekola ki eka. Dola yasigalawo ng'ekola ki. Does this mean tetukyakola free market economy depending on forces of demand and supply, and therefore government waliyo authority determininga nti ebeere wano oba there is something, oba bano tebajja na dollars buli kimu bakiodaringira mu Uganda shillings kubanga kyekitegeeza. Naye I will tell you kubanga ekyo kikwatagana inflation. Naye eventually ebyaliwo byali nti waliyo esente ezajja zonna zajja in specific hands. Buli mugenyi eyava eri tebamukkiriza kwekola transaction ze nga ye.
Yalina handler.
Balina handlers who are very few and connected. That's one. Kyova olaba n'abagenyi abo babatwalanga in specific places, tebabaleka kutaayanga. Yes. Ekitegeeza ekyo nakyo kitegeeza tibaali therefore munnayuganda owa bulijjo oli eyali bali bwe bajja wano waliyo bye baagala okulya bi Rolex biki tebaabafunamu. Tegeeza so dola okubeera nga tefluctuatinga, omuntu asobola kulimba nti gundi yasse, inflation yasse. Ekyokubiri, omuntu waffe owa bulijjo atuwuliriza, genda wali mu katale ekintu omwaka oguwedde kyewagula 10,000, genda olabe esente kati zokola oba okyakigula 10,000. Ekyo kitegeeza inflation. Ekyo kyekitegeeza mu mbeera yaffe ya bulijjo.
Bwebesse kyenagula 10,000 nyinza sigula 7,500. Bweba erinnye kyenagula 10,000 bakigula 1,500 oba 2.
Ekyo kyekitegeeza. So ekyo wogenda wali mu katale n'olaba ekyo. Omwaka oguwedde twagulanga chapati siringi 5. kati chapati okyakigula 5
ya 10 ate nga size yemu
kitegeeza inflation ekoze eki
eri waggulu
kati ate abachapati abo bo bakola ebyo okudipendinga ku ngano bagula batya engano katoni nebirala ate kati oli omusuubuzi naye kidipendinga yasuubudde atya kati oli naye engano yagireesa atya okuva Ukraine okuva Kenya ekyo kitegeeza inflation so ekyo wekibeera nga kijja mu bwongo n'okuba picture eyo oyinza okulowooza nti Odaka yalimba oba Matya Kasajja yabadde atulimba. So ffe inflation interest rate genda olabe essaawa zino olabe abantu baffe bameka genda bugenzi genda kolako lumu survey ne kamera zo otambule mu area ne area yo olabe obuuze ennyumba mmeka ezitundibwa ezikwatibwa banka oba money lenders. Kwata amawulire aga leero towards the last pages olabe emmotoka n'amayumba ameka ag'abantu abalemereddwa okusasula loans eri mu kutunda. That will give you the reality of what we are confronting.
But the Ugandans, or Uganda as a country, tuyina capacity na financing budget ya 72.136 trillion.
No, we do not have it. We are simply going to survive. Do you know that some of these, in the financial year 2020 to 2023, it was about 40-something trillion, isn't it? But the real expenditure, as was recorded, was less, about 5 or to 7 trillion. Now, meaning that the absorption capacity of this economy could only have been about 38 to 35 trillion. Now, last year, the expenditure, as already recorded by other alternative facts, indicate when you go to budgetwatch.com, that's a platform that analyzes all the budget. Ugandans' budget, absorption capacity was about 38 to 40 trillion. Now, I am waiting to know. So now you cannot, because even this supposed data, you cannot rely on it. You cannot say a country whose absorption capacity, even by World Bank itself, says you are not even yet at 40. Then you jump to 40 to 72. There is something you're hiding. There is something you're lying about. There is something you're inflating to achieve something.
What calls for an increase in the budget? Kireetera okuba nti tubadde ku 52.4%, 52.4 trillion, and then ne bongera mu 20 trillion, ne twambuka ku 72.
Well, ordinarily, what would increase the budget is one, your stage of income. Otuusa income yo etuuse ku level ki kiringa abali ewaka nti kati ffe tulowooza ennaku ziryo buli mwezi what was on the table tubadde ne tufuna kakadde kamu
katufuna
milioni 3.
So budget yaffe ne
kati ambition ya budget yaffe nti katufuna bweziti naye tweta kati tubadde tupangise obuzigo bubiri katupangise tutwagala ennyumba ennamba kubanga kati family egenda kugajja naffe tulina okukyusaamu feesi n'ebirala. Now, when you look at at macro level, now at national level, what would now be our income vis-a-vis what sectors we want to develop. For example, what are the sectors, the leading sectors that give us a lot of money in this country? Tourism. Now, we are destroying, instead of developing those tourist attractions, we are destroying them. Even allocation in terms of budget, they are getting minimal money. 2, the roads. You would talk about the roads. Well, to some extent, there are some areas that have the roads. Now, but you see, our problem here, that what is bloating our budget is not development, because I've told you that our development envelope is about 3-something trillion. What is bloating our is administrative expenditure. That parliament alone, that parliament of 527 members of parliament, in a year you need close to 1 trillion. Nga bakulya buli masape. You have RDCs, you have deputy RDCs and assistant RDCs. Oh, I didn't think of that. Now, all that. Then you have presidential advisors. Every retiring minister, retiring leader is a presidential advisor, and you have to get about 9.8 billion to just rent for them where to come and retire and meet their old friends, and you call those things office. So what has bloated our budget is administrative expenditure, because you know that these 147 assistant RDCs are inventions of this year.
Yeah, true.
So they have created for them. 2, when you look at, so it bloats their salaries, and you should know that they're also creating administrative units as far as the Electoral Commission is concerned. In addition to that, there is, you know that ensawo y'omukulu brown envelope has also increased, but they also have to budget for corruption.
But when you look at this 2024-2025 budget, does it address the issues of the people of Uganda?
You see, the issues of Uganda are one. Okay, maybe I should begin from here. That when you look at budgets, countries that, because there are 2 approaches. There are countries whose philosophy is what people want to call socialism. They may not even be pronounced mentioning it, but where the state is the one to provide everything for the people. Now the people, what they do only is paying taxes. Now, that justifies huge budgets normally, because the entire education is government, entire health care, everything you need about health care is government, everything is government. Is government, yes. Gwe mukola byakuzaala na kubeerawo.
Mwana mzaala agende mu ssomero tolina
kyosasula. That justifies a huge budget. But in setups like ours and others, normally that's those who studied the history of taxation and even budget philosophy know it very well. Setups like ours, where you so-called private sector, so-called what and so on, government is only responsible for, say, things like security, which are for what they call general good. Security, maybe those sectors which are like collecting rubbish sanitation, which does not bring profit. Anything that has a relationship with profit, it is for the private sector. There is no justification for huge, and maybe salaries. That's all. Now, ours here, there is really nothing you are not paying for. There is nothing you're not paying for. So, but now when you come to the ordinary person, what are the needs of the ordinary persons? Number one, omuntu waffe Munnayuganda kyayagala wants medicine in the hospital. ayagala emmere,
shelter,
awokwebaka. Those are the basic needs of our ordinary Ugandan. So when you're doing budgeting, ye kyagenda okubala ayagala kulya byendya ebyokulya nsobola bifuna mu bbeeyi ensaamusaamu. If budget does not address ebyemmere nti ngenze Kaleerwe, ngenze Nakawa, ngenze Busega, ngenze Gundi nenfuna emmere, ekyennyanja kyembadde ngula siringi 80 kati ngenda kigula gumu kitundu, because that's what this budget means. By the 72 an increment of close to 20 trillion means inflation, because it also has implication money supply in the economy. So ajja kugendayo agule bwe twayogedde dda ku micungwa oba ku lumonde omuntu gw'abadde agula 10,000 oba 2,000 abamala okulya ewaka olw'okuba bayongedde transport ku mafuta kati ate ffe bwe tugenda wali mu katale okugula lumonde tetugenda kumanya nti bayongedde mu mafuta, tujja kugamba abasajja baseera ennaku zino enkota y'amatooke
gye twagulanga akanaana
omusajja kati aŋŋambye 3. Nze neewuunyiza omusajja aŋŋambye entoka y'amatooke mitwalo egyo, neŋŋamba kati nze olw'okuba mmanyiiko nenkitegeera. So ekyo kitegeeza omuntu wa bulijjo ayagala agende emulago wali, agende ekiruddu wali, agende ebusoolwe wali, agende ejjinja wali, afuneyo at least obujjanjabi yaddeyo ewaka. Tewali kyayagala. Actually gavumenti bye batamanyi singa abadde bakola ebyo nti omuntu ajja kgenda yefunira eddagala lye agende ayite ku kkubo eddungi addeyo, ebya politics byawe by the people wouldn't even be bothering with them. But you see that, so, but if you look at all the things which the ordinary man needs, because you need water, electricity, because why would we be the second mu nsi yonna? Omanyi nga Uganda ey'okubiri okubeera nga sifa abasinga okusasula amasannyalaze okubeera bbeeyi ennyingi. Second to Turkey. Second, amasannyalaze gaffe gava wano Ekiira, gava wali Bujagaali, gava wali Karuma. Why would we be the second? Lwaki amasannyalaze gaali wa bbeeyi ennyo? So kitegeeza focus mu priorities za gavumenti teziri ku ebyo ebikwata ku muntu wa bulijjo. Focus eri walala ky'oba olaba focus ya kugula sokooyi ya operation sujja eyo buli lunaku tuteekayo miliyoni ebyo 2 at the very minimum, at the very bare minimum operation sujja. Naye miliyoni 2 oziteeka ku bikwata ku bulamu bwa Munnayuganda bulijjo. Just imagine how it will change life. Wogenda ku byokusoma, because nebyo bikwata ku Munnayuganda wa bulijjo. Kankubuulire kati oli munnamawulire mbadde nsaba mukoleko ku documentary mugende mu visiting amasomero. Leero si kumpi mwezi mulambo bukyabaana baddeyo ku masomero. Go and ask them what percentage of their last year's students, pupils have returned to school this time. It is pathetic. Kitegeeza kintu kimu, abantu tebalina ssente za kuzaayo abaana ku masomero. Now, tosobola kubeera nga abantu abalimba UPE, but naye what is happening is different. When you go to UPE,
they promised they're going to do something with UPE schools. They're going to build more UPE schools, like 60, and renovate the zero.
No, but you see, the logical thing would be first make the existing one viable. Because tosobola kubeera ng'oyongeza naye nga n'agaliwo tewali, they are not viable, they have no impact. So first make the existing one viable. Then we believe you that even the other ones you're going to do something. Otherwise, that is it. So if you're kusoma, then the other is to do with, of course, that also chikwata ku muntu wa bulijjo. The issues of land acquisitions, what and so on. You see, people move from nga tunagenda mu bintu bya masanalaze gano olanyinga abantu baffe bwobagoba mu bintu biri byonna kati abali gundi abali mu tawuni kati bakola bya kusala nviiri byaki all depend on masanyalaze. Amasanyalaze go oba ogalese mu bbeeyi ennene kitegeeza you have not made them conditions conducive for them to do that. So yet at the level of farming, even those who are doing farming, but yes, but also even the basic market. But you see, you have monopolized, for example, those who are, for example, in Busoga, I can tell you, in Busoga, the issue of sugarcane, how would you send me to go and I have sacrificed my entire land. I'm not growing any food crop, but it is the buyer who is dictating how much I am to sell. That's one, my sugarcane. When to sell,
and who to sell to.
And who to sell to. Now that free market doesn't work like that. So omulimi owe Busoga oba tomuyambye. Budget eyo teyerabyemu. The same thing with people in I told you one time here about the bagya ne bagamba abeteeso mulime. We brought for you here a company called Teju, juice making thing, Teju. Now Teju, abantu ne basimba emichungwa. When the michungwa were ready, ne bagamba, your michungwa are hard. It cannot be crushed. They get michungwa from Kenya. Now the michungwa jeteso, it is going to waste. People get it and pour them, but they use them now as fertilizer to rot. When you go to Bukedi area, they are chasing away people from the land, wetland, while giving it to China. Of course, I've told you about the toro. Yeah. I have told you about the ordinary person in Ankole of milk. They are telling you about milk in Mara. Of course, Mr. Museveni says 5 point something billion. Corporation says 3. But you see, the ordinary man gets milk at 300 a liter or half a liter. Then 600, of course, a liter. Then he goes and gives some people. One person is the one taking. You the ordinary munyankole, you told Nabuyinza to bring milk in Kampala. You take it to some center. Yes. So how are you helping the ordinary munyankole, the ordinary muteso, ordinary musoga, ordinary mukedi?
But not everyone will transport their milk from the village to Kampala.
Yes, they will not. But you see, the issue of pricing is important. My problem is that you are bringing, you have put that center is dictating the price.
The prices.
Which does not favor the ordinary farmer. Did I tell you here that there was even a resolution there that in Barara City Council, that all the matoke that is coming from Barara coming to Kampala should first be peeled, and the matoke coming to Kampala should only be peeled matoke?
No, when was that passed?
That it was passed in 2022. It is a resolution.
What informed that?
They said want to clean Kampala. I don't know when Barara determined the cleaning of Kampala. It is there. So there are very many crazy things being done in this country under the guise, but I will tell you, all said that the budget is simply in Museveni's head. Why I'm saying Museveni's head, this one you read, but you see, they will 2-3 months after this, the beginning of this, you will see supplementary budgets.
Yeah.
That's why for them they know the expenditure will be somewhere else, something else, that they will tell you something else.
What implications, let's call them financial implications, zetutunuulidde ensi nga Uganda lwa budget eno gye tulina ya 72.13?
Of course, number one, it tells Ugandans that kwesiba bbiri.
Twesibe bbiri. Tunywere.
URA egenda kubeera nkambwe okusinga bwebaddeko.
Egenda soloza omusolo ku buli muntu.
Because URA kati egenda kutunuulira butunuulizi bw'eti egamba oyo Farida ayambadde olwo olugoye lwe lwa mitwalo nga 8, ayambadde essaawa akoze eki.
Tumuteekeko omusolo gwa mitwalo 5.
Oyo atuweeyo 5. Bajje ku dduuka lyo bagambe kino na kino na kino.
By the way, they just come and look at your shop and
yes. That's what they do. So that means buli muntu yenna agenda okulowooza nti agenda kusigala mu bizinesi yesibe ebbiri. Ekyokusatu kiraga nti bizinesi eziriwo zigenda kweyongera okugwa because URA eyo eyagala kimu hitting a target. URA's problem is not for you to your business to be sustained.
Business ye weri oba teriiwo.
Obo baagala ssente kubanga government yabatumye. Bali bo baagala kulya. Ekyokulala nti kiri nti tugenda kweyongera okubeera nti ebintu bya bulijjo ebyetagisibwa ebya bulijjo bigenda inflation yo egenda kukola ki? Kulinnya. Kubanga once there is this so-called regressive taxation, business are collapsing.
Yeah.
Ogenda kulaba because of this same influence. Because influence conventionally woba okisomye ojja kugamba nti be bantu system eyagala efficient compliance towards the tax.
Yes. That's all, no?
Yes, that is what it's supposed to be. Only it is as good, or it can only be that good in the hands of good people. It can't be in the hands of bad people. Because tosobola kubeera nga Farida olina business yo. Because business is like business dealing is like matters of state. There should be some secrets. Secrets zange nze nkola kino. Once I open up all my secrets to my competitors, and if my competitors, live upon competitors, but to people who you think, let me tell you, in Tororo there I have somebody who is a friend who was doing photocopying. Just photocopying. Then he expanded, he started, he brought... So he started printing exams for schools and he got some money. So one time some people came and told him, from nowhere, you have tax arrears of 280 million. He said, my business cannot even make 280 million. Said, then when he said so and they said close, about 3 days later somebody comes and tells him, this is true, you are nze mpaayo 50% shares in your company.
Baleme kujjako omusolo.
Ebyomusolo ebyo tubikole to be writing off. So that is, so just imagine yalita manyi. Now what about giving this all this information to them when they know? What bad can they do? So my problem is giving all this information to the bad people. So ekyo kitegeeza because already byenda mu kikuubo eyo people abandoning their businesses. People abandoning their business because of that. Ebizimbe, when you go to Chikubo, actually all those arcades, I'm sympathetic to those who put their money in those arcades.
The buildings.
Because first floor, second floor, third floor, they are now empty. The 3. 4, The implication is that you have this tuyinza n'okuswala because gavumenti eyinza okuswala because yeeteeseeko sente nnyingi ng'erowooza amafuta gagenda avaayo ate ng'ago amafuta first of all n'amafuta gennyini we seem to the other day I heard, is it which Kalenga, which part Musajja had taken over how many gallons already?
They have started still.
Yes. But you see, the truth is that the crude oil, we started taking crude oil in 2019, 2020. That record is there. Batugamba, not yet, but worldexport.com put us as number 93 among the world top exporters of crude oil. Exporting oil?
No, we haven't started basing on reports from the government.
Yes. For you it is safe to be. Me, I'm giving you facts.
It is unfortunate. Mr. Odaka Asuman, could you please say your last remarks?
Yes,
as we close
for
the
us, from me, I'm very grateful for these interviews you people give us. I keep telling you, you only need to be courageous enough to do what you're doing. I know many of you, even when you invite us and we say what we say, sometimes they become so uncomfortable. And the only drones can pick you up from here. I want to say, don't pick Farida, pick Odaka. Yeah, that's one. But I will tell you that what you do is very fundamental, and history will judge you correctly in the future. To the members of NEED, I want to tell you that we do this the way we do it intentionally, and I will tell you that the leadership of NEED understands what we are doing, and we understand the political environment. That's why we want to do these things that way. Okay. We move slowly, but where we have moved, we don't get back.
More slow but sure.
Thank you.
Tweyanziza nnyo Mr. Odaka Asuman, first for creating time for us okujja okudiscussing for the national budget. A lot of us Ugandans tetutegeera biba bifudde mu budget na how that budget can impact Bannayuganda positively or negatively. Ndowooza abadde ku show yaffe ey'olunaku lwa leero, ndowooza you picked one or two things from Mr. Odaka's discussion, and you can still pass on the message to some other person atasobodde kubanga ate atulaba olunaku lwa leero. Njagala okubaagaliza olunaku olulungi era okubeebaza abatulabye mwenna. Thank you so much for tuning in. Era nja kubategeeza ntusisinkane olunaku olw'enkya essaawa zigenda kubeera 2 ez'okumakya. Benkoze nabo omukulu Benald ku kamera ne mukose Anthony mu control room. Thank you so much. Njagala okubaagaliza olunaku olulungi. See you tomorrow 8 a.m.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.